Welcome to another edition of WCW 1998, How I Would Book It. We are in the first edition of Nitro in the month of April, and we are kicking it off with the Macho Man Randy Savage, who is calling out who is calling out the president of the WCW Championship Committee, Tully Blanchard. And I'm well aware that every other Macho Man promo that I've ever done in this season has been unscripted, and that is exactly what this segment would be, unscripted, because I trust the Macho Man, and I believe that Randy would be able to cut a good promo. But basically, all Randy would be doing here is calling out Tully Blanchard, and that's all he would be saying is, "Tully Blanchard, get out here! I got something to say." And of course, Tully Blanchard would make his way out because nobody says no to the Macho Man. And Randy says, "I told you this before, that I deserve that world title shot a lot more than Hulk Hogan. I belong in the main event a lot more than Hulk Hogan. Give me my opportunity to prove it." And Tully Blanchard says, "You know something, Randy? You've been loyal to WCW. You've been here for a very long time. And now you have proven, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you belong in the main event. And you know what, Randy? If you can run the gauntlet against 3 members of the New World Order, then Randy, you will get your title shot. You will be versing one member tonight, another member next week, and finally you will be finishing it off with the leader of the NWO, Hollywood Hogan, in 2 weeks. Can you do that, Randy?" Oh yeah. So now that's set up. Randy Savage up against members of the NWO, and that's actually where we kick it off tonight, with Randy Savage up against the NWO Sting in his first match of the 3-week gauntlet to see if Randy Savage can get a world title shot. And now Randy, following the match, Randy gets assaulted by Brian Adams and Mike Awesome. Brian Adams is who Randy will be versing next week. And he gets attacked by Mike Awesome following his match against Jeff Farmer, aka the NWO Sting. But it's not long before the Giant runs out and helps Randy Savage fend off further from a serious beating. He helps Randy against the NWO. and the Giant and Randy end up standing tall as we move on. Now we move to the broadcast position where Mike Tenay, Tony Schiavone, and Bobby Heenan talk about the main event tonight. And you might remember this from a previous video because I ran this segment in a previous video, and I said that it was a mistake and not supposed to be there because the match did not happen. But this week, Hulk Hogan will take on Diamond Dallas Page in the main event of Nitro. Now we move to the next segment, which is Dean Malenko against Louis Spicolli in a match that is designed to get Dean a little bit more TV time than he had been getting before, which, if you know Dean, he was never really featured on television. But I felt this match was also going to get a lot better than it did. That's why I put it on the show, and I'm kind of disappointed with the result. Now we move to the next segment, which shows Stinger walking around up in the rafters with the WCW World Heavyweight title, spectating the ring below and what is going on. And now, we see scratch out the idea of him appearing backstage, and let it be that you see him appearing in the audience, much to the surprise of the announcers. One reason and one reason only. Because Bret Hart quit 3 weeks ago, I want to say 3 weeks ago on Nitro. He quit, but now he's showing up in the audience at Madison Square Garden, much to the delight of the fans and much to the shock of the announce team. But why is Bret Hart here if he quit? And that leads to Mike, Tony, and Bobby talking about why Bret Hart is here. And you have Bobby Heenan saying, I don't know what you guys are talking about, because Bret Hart only showed up in the audience. There's nothing against him showing up in the audience. That does not mean he's back. That just means he's here as a fan. Bobby, come on. You hear that from Tony. Now we move to the next match, which is the rarely seen Eddie Guerrero against the Canadian Crippler and the television champion Chris Benoit. And you got Chris Benoit victorious in what could have been his next step after defeating Chris Jericho for the television title, and finishing that short feud. But now we move to after that match, we move to the next segment, which is Ric Flair making his way out to the ring with a microphone, and he's calling out Hot Rod, Roddy Piper, after what happened with Roddy Piper and Ric Flair 2 weeks ago last week at Uncensored. Last night, rather, at Uncensored. Because, if you don't remember, because you didn't see the show, or because you just don't remember, Ric Flair fought Sid Vicious at Uncensored, and Roddy Piper ended up costing Ric Flair the match due to a botched interference where he accidentally hit Ric Flair instead of hitting Sid Vicious, which would have helped, or could have helped, Ric Flair win. But instead, Flair came up short, and now he's calling out Roddy to figure out why. And now Roddy Piper comes to the ring, and the first word out of Ric Flair's mouth is, Roddy, why? Why did you cost me my match at Uncensored against Sid Vicious? You had no business out there. Rick, before you say I had no business out there, remember, 2 months ago, I was assaulted also. I was attacked by Sid Vicious. Just like you were, just like Arn was. I was too. Mind you, I just want to set the setting for this. Flair is in the ring, but Roddy is on the stage, not in the ring. He's not in the ring. Roddy is standing in the entranceway. Flair is in the ring. Roddy is not moving from the entranceway. Their entranceway and ring trading words. Back to what I was saying. It seems like you forgot that I was attacked too. I was taken out by them too, and I told you 2 months ago at the end of January that if you needed help, I wanted revenge on them too. I wanted revenge on Sid Vicious too, because of the fact that he attacked me, just like he attacked you. So before you think I had no reason to be there, remember that I did. But Roddy, you had no reason coming out during my match. You screwed me out of a win. You're right, Rick. It was a mistake. It was a mistake, me coming out. I made a mistake. It happens to the best of us. And I apologize. But I want to tell you something, Rick. I will get Sid Vicious in the ring. Whether it's before you get him back in the ring or not, I will get him in the ring. And I will get my revenge on him. That's fine, Roddy. But don't do it when I'm beating you to it. Speaking of beating, from out of nowhere, Sid Vicious jumps in the ring and attacks Ric Flair. Don't pay attention to what it says on the screen. Listen to what I'm saying, because that's the only way. What it says on the screen is the only way I could have did this. I couldn't have done it the opposite way. Fact of the matter is, if I did it the opposite way, Ric Flair would have been the one. Ric Flair wouldn't have been the one that got attacked. Let's put it that way. But you remember the setting of Flair in the ring and Roddy out in the entranceway. From out of nowhere, from behind Flair, Sid Vicious comes out and jumps Ric Flair, who's in the ring. And Roddy is just standing there in shock for a second. He doesn't know what to do until Roddy charges the ring, and Sid Vicious leaves because he did what he came to do. And Roddy is in the ring checking on Nature Boy. He's in the ring checking on Ric Flair as we go to break, and then we come back with this match between Harlem Heat, the new tag team champions, and Scotty Riggs and Hammer, the Flock. And though this match isn't up to my standards of what I would want, and is nowhere near what I would expect or what I would like to see from my tag team champions, especially with the height of the momentum that certain members of the tag team champions have, and the reason why I don't like them being how they are, and the lackluster tag team division that I have, I don't know what I'm going to do. But long story short, first win for them as champions, and this is the start of something bigger for Harlem Heat, and possibly just to give me some more time to develop a story for them and a feud to make their run a little bit more worthwhile. Now, to stop me from rambling, let's go to the next segment. Vincent taunts the Giant. Vincent is out there without Mike Awesome, but he's out there by himself, taunting the largest athlete in WCW to come out and face him like a man. But also, Vincent lays out this challenge. Vincent says, Giant, you want to be a man. You want to prove that you are the unbeatable force in the WCW. Then come on and accept my client, my friend, Mike Awesome's challenge for a match at Spring Stampede. Come on, Giant. Come on out here and accept it. Face to face, man to man. Be the man that you think you are, but everybody else knows you're not. And the Giant, of course, comes out, and he's not happy. Because, well, he's the largest athlete in WCW, and he's being spoken down to, or made fun of, or well, yeah, by a big mouth, and it's Vincent. He's being spoken down to by Vincent. Yeah, that happens, you know. So he's come out to shut Vincent up. And what happens? Well, long story short, Vincent ends up getting chokeslammed. And it's, you know, it's like that old t-shirt. Like the old Steve Austin t-shirt, where it's walk in, drink beer, leave, or something like that. He would walk in, the Giant would come in, chokeslam, then leave. Now we move to the next segment, which is the semi-main event between Kevin Nash and Ray Traylor. The reason why I booked this match is because up until today, Kevin Nash only has 1 win or 2 wins to his name out of 7 matches. So Big Sexy needed a win. Pardon me for a second. I'm back. Now, if you heard anything that sounded like an animal, it's because my cat is very nosy and saw something new, you know, my headset, and wanted to know what was going on. And now she is bothering me. And I'm bothering her with the wire. And now we move to the next segment, which is back to Mike Tenay, Bobby Heenan, and Tony Schiavone, and them talking about the WCW World Heavyweight Champion, Stinger, who at this point has nothing. Well, they just talk about how Sting has become somewhat of a dominant champion since winning the world title. Since winning the world title at Starrcade from Hollywood Hogan. And now Sting makes his way out to the ring, but we don't know why. All we know is this. Well, the fact of the matter is, I made Sting cut an unscripted promo because I wanted it to be taken as a shoot. It didn't work because Sting didn't do well without the script. But the fact of the matter is, what Sting would do is he would call out, but not call out in the sense that he wants him to come out. It would call out in the sense of what they're doing isn't right, or how they're doing business isn't right, because he would tell the people he would call out are Tully Blanchard, the president of the WCW Championship Committee, and Eric Bischoff. Because he would say, "Is this how a champion?" Now, I expect to be taken lightly, to be kept on the shelf by Eric Bischoff. But is this how WCW treats a champion? I want competition. I desire to defend my title and be in competition and compete to prove why I hold this title, not just sit on the shelf and compete once a month defending it against my monthly challenger. I am not that type of champion, nor do I want to be. Give me something. I want competition. After Sting's plea, after Sting's shoot on WCW's poor use of the Stinger, we move to the main event, Hollywood Hogan against Diamond Dallas Page, which we see Hollywood Hogan victorious against our United States champion. Look guys, it might have been another sour show, but things will improve. I promise you that. Things will improve. Things will change. Bret Hart isn't going to disappear. Things will just continue to grow off the one-time appearance, off this appearance from the Hitman. Things will continue to change for Randy Savage. Things will continue to grow for the Giant and Mike Awesome. Fact of the matter is, things are just starting to build to the breaking point of Fall Brawl in September. Please, don't stop watching now. The fact is, though the final rating may not be that good, fact is, that's the final rating from the game. Your opinion could differ completely from the game because you heard what I said. The game can't judge how they rate what goes on the show by what I say because they can't hear what I say. Fact of the matter is, if you thought tonight's show was good, let me know in the comment section below. If you want more content just like this, don't forget to like this video or subscribe to the channel. Because this is the only place that you can get unique content like this. And where is it? Wrestling Express. Thanks for joining me. Till next time. Later.